Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brian Hanley. Welcome back to Steelers Almighty, the fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube. We appreciate everybody being in here, man. Look, we got a good show for you today. First up, can the Steelers trust Mason Rudolph? Reports, it's about 50-50 on whether Aaron Rodgers is going to play, but if he has to sit out, can the Steelers trust Rudolph? We'll talk about that. There is a log jam at cornerback, and I think it's a good thing. Mike Tomlin had some wild statements in his press conference about who might start at cornerback this weekend. We'll discuss that a little bit more. Alex Highsmith, has he become expendable? Now, obviously not this season. Let's be realistic. The trade deadline is already come and gone. But next year, and we'll get into it, is it time? Is it time for the Steelers to move on? And then last but not least, it's time to pay Boswell. It's just time. It's time the Steelers got to get off the dime and just pay him. And we'll talk about that and why the Steelers need to pay him. So appreciate everybody being in here as always, man. Again, remember to like, follow, subscribe. If you can always find us at youtube.com/Steelers Almighty. Any of your social media platforms, we are at Steelers Almighty. And if you prefer the audio version of this podcast, you can find us at Steelers Almighty. Appreciate everybody, man. Let's get into this. So first up, can the Steelers trust Mason Rudolph? So we saw what the offense looked like in the second half of the game against the Bengals. Now, there's so many people out there that, and I really don't know why. You watched the football game. People want to come up with excuses, I guess, to try to be right and just say, well, they scored the same number of points. Well, one of the reasons is they didn't have the same number of possessions because the Steelers scored defensively twice. If the Steelers just stop the Bengals and then the Bengals have to punt, who knows how many points the offense would have generated? You don't know that. So that's number one. Let's keep that in perspective. Number two, if you watch the football game, the offense looked better in the second half. I don't care what you try to say, what your agenda is. And I say that with kind of kid gloves on because it's like, do you want to just be right? Because if you just want to be right, then you'll say, okay, no, the offense didn't look any better. That is not the truth. It is not the truth. And it doesn't have anything to do with numbers because I just explained the numbers. Steelers didn't have as many possessions because the defense scored 2 touchdowns. If the defense just stops the Bengals, who knows how many more yards that the Steelers offense might have had. We don't know that. But again, as a objective person, if you just watched the game, the offense ran smooth in the second half more than it did when Aaron Rodgers, basically the last 6 quarters that Aaron Rodgers played. Am I saying that Mason Rudolph is better than Rodgers? No. Have I ever said that? No. Am I ever going to say that? No. But the offense looked better. I can say that because 2 things can absolutely be true. Can Rodgers be better than Rudolph? Yes. Can the offense look better in the second half against the Bengals than what it did the previous 6 quarters? Yes. So if he has to play, does it look better? Can it look better? Well, here's a couple of things. Mason Rudolph saved the Steelers in 2023, and it didn't start out that way. And I was one of those people. That was even before we started Steelers Almighty. I was beating on Mike Tomlin to throw Mason Rudolph in, not because I could be right, because of the pathetic quarterback play that had been going on previous. We saw baby hands. He wasn't any good, and he was injury prone. So we know how that works out. And there's so many people out there that keep saying, well, Kenny Pickett, if he wasn't given a chance, well, the rest of the National Football League hasn't given him a chance either. So you can't just say it's a Steeler problem with Kenny Pickett. No, it's a National Football League problem, or more importantly, it's a Kenny Pickett problem. Just not very good. Okay? He hadn't been given an opportunity by anyone. So stop with that narrative. Then we knew what Mitchell Trubisky was. I mean, he signed with the Steelers as a bridge. Steelers should have cut him halfway through Kenny Pickett's rookie year and just moved on. Said, this guy can't play football. Now, he's a backup, and that's all he is a backup. And I'm not sure why they didn't give Mason Rudolph even an opportunity to win the backup job. But when he finally got in, he just did a couple of things. I'm going to get the ball out of my hand. I'm not going to sit here and hold it. Okay. I'm going to throw it to who the hell is ever open. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it was George Pickens, if it was Deontay Johnson, if it was Pat Fryermuth, if it was a running. I don't care who it is. I'm going to throw the ball to who's open so we can move the sticks. And he also wasn't afraid to tack down the field. So he saved the Steelers. He got us into the playoffs. Now, was he good enough to beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen? No, but the Steelers didn't lose that game in the playoffs because of Mason Rudolph. They lost because the Steelers defense couldn't stop the Bills. And look, he had some bad interceptions in that game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I'm not saying he played great, but they won the last 3 games. He helped. And the only reason they were even in that playoff game for as long as they were, Mason Rudolph did some stuff in that playoff game. There's no doubt about it. Do you want to say that he's a big time legitimate starter? Well, I don't know, because here's the thing. 2024 happened. We can't act like it didn't. Oh, by the way, was it 2019, I believe, when Big Ben got hurt, Mason Rudolph got his opportunity. It didn't look good, people. It did not look good. It didn't look good so much that, number one, he got hurt, which is the Achilles heel of a backup quarterback. I mean, nobody blames people for being injured, but your job is to play. That's why you're there. You can't be injury prone. So he got hurt. And then when he came back, Duck Hodges was better than him, you know? And they took Hodges out because Hodges was what he was, put Rudolph back in, and he still wasn't any good. And that was the thing. It's like there is tape of Mason Rudolph stinking it up with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, he got a little older, got a little bit more experience, and then he was better. But 2024 also happened too in Tennessee, people. So let's not kid ourselves and act like that didn't happen. Now, granted, I'm the first to tell you the offensive line stunk in Tennessee. The plan stunk. The weapons weren't any good. So he didn't have a lot of opportunity to thrive in Tennessee. Let's just say that franchise is a disaster. It's a disaster. Now, even the most staunch Mike Tomlin, Art Rooney the second people can be upset and mad at the franchise. We would never consider ourselves even remotely close to what Tennessee is. So when you go to bad places, the Jets come to mind. Sometimes it doesn't matter what you do. It's just not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Tennessee is one of those places. I mean, they fired Mike Vrabel because Mike Vrabel didn't want to get rid of A.J. Brown as a wide receiver. So they fired him. And then look how that turned out. It just you talk about a bad franchise. Don't hold 2024 and Mason Rudolph being there against him. Don't hold that against him. So I get it. I get it. And my thing is, he's never really been given an opportunity. Like, he hasn't really been given an opportunity. And who knows if he's going to get an opportunity now. We keep hearing that, well, it's pain tolerance with Aaron Rodgers, and can they secure it, and all that might be coach speak, but Rodgers really wants to play, and I'm like, do you need Aaron Rodgers to play this week? Now, again, I am not telling you that Mason Rudolph is better than Aaron Rodgers, but a Mason Rudolph might be better than an injured Aaron Rodgers. A compromised a compromised 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph at his best might be better than that. So to me, if Rodgers can't go out there and do everything that we need him to do, it's okay to sit a week. And if he does sit a week, I trust Mason Rudolph. I'm not saying that Mason Rudolph is the answer at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So before people go off saying that, I'm not telling you that. All I'm saying is, can we trust him? Let's say he had to play 3 weeks. I trust him to play 3 weeks. Doesn't mean the Steelers are going to go 3-0. Doesn't mean he's going to play good or great, should I say. but I trust him. And I think unless Aaron Rodgers can, number one, he's not going to hurt himself any further with that wrist injury. Two, unless he can do absolutely everything with the injury and not be compromised in any way. Well, I know what some people will say, but come on, B, you can't talk like that. Guys are walking around. It's football. Guys are going to have to play through some pain. You're correct. Guys have to play through pain. But if they're compromised and can't do what they need to do, they got to sit. Y'all know my motto on injuries. I say the same thing every week about injuries. First off, nobody blames you. Second of all, I don't expect your best, but I damn sure don't expect your worst. And if you can't go out there and do all the things that you need to do because you're compromised, well, then you have to sit down. I understand, hey, you know what? Maybe I can't hand the ball off 10 times with his left wrist. I can't hand it off going to the offense's right. I can only do that 5 times a game. That's something you can live with because you can pitch. You can do that. You can live with that. But if I can't take a snap, that's another under center. That's a different conversation. That is a totally different conversation. But I think I trust Mason Rudolph. I guess my question is, do you? Let's go to the poll question. Poll number 1. Do you believe Mason Rudolph has the potential to be the Steelers' starting quarterback in the future? A, yes, he's shown enough promise. B, no, he lacks the consistency needed. C, I'm unsure. I need more evidence. Or D, I prefer to see a new quarterback. Make sure you put a 1 in front of your answer so we know exactly what poll question you are answering. Let's move on. So there is a log jam at cornerback for the Steelers right now. The Steelers brought in Asante Samuel Jr. They have a starter and Joey Porter Jr., another starter and Darius Slay, a guy who's playing like a starter and might be playing the best of anybody. Doesn't make him the best corner, but he's playing like the best corner. And James Pierre, we have that. Brandin Echols struggled a little bit against the Chargers. But he definitely, before that, was playing well. Everybody had seen all the coaches. I mean, you could watch the tape. Brandin Echols, he was playing well. So as far as a cornerback position, the Steelers, okay. Okay. Now, I don't bring up guys like Corey Trice. I'm not, until Corey Trice can just practice without getting hurt, there's no reason to even bring him up. Jalen Ramsey's made the full-time transition back to free safety. So this is what we're looking at. So who should be the starters? Okay, that's my first thing. We heard Mike Tomlin in his press conference say that Darius Slay was going to be the starter. And I cringed because I'm like, why? Like, what's the point? And here's the thing about that is we understand, well, I know there's always the old saying that you can't lose your job to injury. And I always say BS because a guy, and this goes way back, and most of you won't even know what the hell I'm talking about, but Wally Pipp lost his guy. He sat out one day. Lou Gehrig came in, and then Lou Gehrig played 3,000 games in a row after that and became one of the best first basemen to ever play baseball. That happens. You can lose your job to injury. If the guy that's coming in that played for you is playing better than you, especially when you've struggled all year. And this is no disrespect to Darius Slay, but truth is truth. He struggled. He has struggled in man coverage. Now, he's better in zone. I totally understand. But anytime the Steelers go single high and we go man or even man free or man cover 2 man, he struggles. He struggles in man coverage now. That's just who he is at 34 years old. James Pierre has not. Now, clearly the sample size has been a lot smaller, but over the last 3 games, James Pierre has been lights out as a corner, including against what I believe and what most people believe is the best wide receiver duo in the National Football League, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Played lights out football, ladies and gentlemen. Lights out. So I mean, and they went at him. They went at him. He had 10 balls thrown his way against the Bengals. He gave up 30 yards. You heard me right. They threw at him 10 times and he gave up 30 yards on the day. Look, that's a guy that's got to be in your lineup, especially when the other starter is struggling. And again, there's no shame in just saying, Darius, we appreciate you. You're still a part of what we're trying to do, but we got to put James in. He's playing better than you right now. And Darius Slay he's a professional. He's 34 years old. He's been in this league a long time. He should understand that. He should absolutely understand that. Now, again, nobody's saying that James Pierre is Deion Sanders. Nobody's saying that he didn't struggle last year, because he was awful last year, which is why people got on him. But at some point, if they're playing well, you got to let that guy play. You didn't bring Asante Samuel in to sit on the bench. That's my next comment. Like, you brought him in. Doesn't he need to play? Now, I made the mistake of saying that he was a nickel corner. He isn't. He is an outside guy. And for that, again, I apologize, because I thought that he had played, and maybe I read it wrong, or maybe I was just wrong. It's okay for me to be wrong. But 93% of his snaps, he's playing outside corner. Well, why did you bring him in? I'm assuming you want to play him. Otherwise, what's he doing here? He doesn't need to be sitting on the bench, because I can tell you this, if healthy, he might be the best corner that the Steelers have. And I know some people are going to say it's Joey Porter Jr., but Asante Samuel, if healthy, is better than him. He's proven to be better than him. So we'll see what happens. And Brandin Echols has been pretty good in the slot. Well, I know Asante Samuel Jr. has ability to play in the slot. What are we going to do? First off, I think it's a good problem to have. That's my first thought, is having an abundance of corners is a good problem to have. Not to mention, even when Slay does come back, if he gets thrown in the starting lineup, which again, I am just cringing, because I'm like, what? Just play the guy that has the hot hand. It's like a basketball game. Guy that's knocking down 3-pointers left and right, and he's in a groove. Oh, well, I got to take him out. It's time for him to come out of the game. No, you let that guy keep rolling. You absolutely do. So hopefully that was some coach speak, or hopefully the rotation is so much, Slay can start, Pierre gets most of the snaps, and then we start to see a transition. I would love that. But again, it's a good problem to have, because even when Slay comes back, he gets hurt every game. Like, every time he's forced to make a tackle, it's like every third tackle is like there's something, a hand, a knee, a foot, an ankle, which I don't blame the man. He's 34 years old, man. You fall down. You don't want to be falling down on the ground if you don't have to. So I get it. And things hurt that didn't hurt when you were 29 years old. They do when you're 34, man. I totally understand. But the depth that the Steelers have at corner now is quality. And that's the difference. It is quality depth. Because even if Slay goes to the bench and you're playing Pierre and he's playing well, you still have Joey Porter Jr., Asante Samuel, and Brandin Echols. That's not a bad group. Oh, and if you absolutely have to, you can always bring Jalen Ramsey down to play slot corner for you. Hell, if it's a dying or a pressing need, I guess technically you could put him at outside corner. Now, I don't think the Steelers need to do that any longer, but you could do that. So that's the difference with the Steelers right now, is they've got some depth back in that secondary, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing, you know. I think a lot of people look at as well, who's going to play, and look, play everybody if you have to. Play everybody, and maybe there's some things where the Steelers can go to a dime package and they can get multiple, corners out there. That's probably requiring taking out a linebacker, which they usually aren't trying to do. But who knows? Who knows? Have somebody cover a tight end or something of that nature, in obvious passing situations. Who knows? But the Steelers got options, people. They have got some options, and I like it. Like, the more quality corners like offensive linemen. You can never have enough good cornerbacks on your roster. Never. Never. So I love it. But I am interested to see who's going to get the majority of the snaps because they would be doing James Pierre disjustice if he doesn't get the majority of the snaps. He's earned it, in my opinion. He's earned it. You needed him to step up. A lot of people thought, okay, he's played good, but now he's going to face Chase and Higgins. Let's see what's what. And he stood up to that and even more. So, I mean, I don't know what else you have to do to prove that you need to get playing time, but I guess that's it. We'll see. Let's go to the poll question, people. Yeah, what was a weakness for the Steelers? No longer a weakness, in my opinion. So we'll see. Poll 2. What do you think, or who do you think will emerge as the starter opposite Joey Porter Jr. this season? A, James Pierre. He's undrafted, but playing well as of late. B, Asante Samuel Jr., newly signed cornerback with a fused spine, which is tricky. C, Darius Slay, old vet, dwindling star potential. We're starting to see that. Or D, Brandin Echols, lesser known, solid all around. So who do you think will be the starter? A, James Pierre, B, Asante Samuel Jr., C, Darius Slay, or D, Brandin Echols. Make sure you put a 2 in front of your answer so we know exactly what poll question you are answering. Let's go to the halftime, people. Again, every week, thank you guys so much for all the support and everything you guys have done for this channel. We absolutely appreciate you guys, man. Keep showing up. I promise we will keep making content and get better and better each and every week. I want to thank you again, all the members out there. Thank you. And anybody who wants to become a member, if you want to help support the channel that way, you know how to sign up, man. There's tons of benefits out there. Starting to get more active over on the Facebook group and on the daily walks. But definitely the watch party. The watch party is growing each and every week, which is where we watch the Steelers game. We all get into the room. We analyze. We go back and forth. We argue. We cheer. We yell. Have a ton of fun. So if you want to be a part of that, make sure you sign up to be a member at the Hall of Fame level. Next up is our merchandise. Man, I'm telling you, you want to go to Steelers Almighty Shop and go pick you up some merchandise. The hoodies that are out there right now, you guys are going to love. We've got some hoodies out there, sweatshirts out there, new beanies that are out there. It's freezing cold, man. It's cold. So make sure you guys go pick up all that stuff, not to mention all the glasses, the T-shirts, all that good stuff to help support this channel if you want to go buy that. But more importantly, if you just want Steelers Almighty gear that you can brag about, we got it. Anything that you're looking for, we got it over there, people. So appreciate you guys doing that. Thank you very, very much. Let's get back to it. Okay. So has Alex Highsmith become expendable? Now, when I say that, not right now. Okay, I want to clarify. You're not cutting Alex Highsmith. Big G wants to trade everybody no matter what. Even when, the trade deadline is passed. And like, you're not getting rid of Alex Highsmith in the 2025 season. Okay. So anything that we're talking about doesn't pertain to this season. But here's the deal. Still, he's a very good player. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying that Alex Highsmith isn't good. He's got 21 tackles, 15 solo tackles, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble this season. He's also solid in the run game. I mean, Alex Highsmith is a football player, ladies and gentlemen. He is. He is. He can do a lot of things for the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of things. But one of those things that he can bring is draft capital. And look, you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers roster, and I know we have a lot of picks, but we need more. There's a lot of holes on this roster, ladies and gentlemen. We're lying to ourselves to think that we're a piece or two away from competing for a Super Bowl. We've got holes on the roster that have to be filled. So that's one thing that he could help do that. Now, he's been injured over the last couple of years. He's injured now. He was injured last year. Now, before that, he wasn't. So I don't want to necessarily classify Alex Highsmith as being injury prone. So, because I don't know that that's necessarily fair. But what is fair is that last year he missed 6 games, and this year he's missed 3. He's going to miss another, or he might miss another. We'll see. But he's been hurt over the last couple of seasons. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, again, I don't want to label the man injury prone because I don't think that's fair when he played, so long with missing just one football game. But over the last 2 seasons, it's been an issue. It's been an issue. And not to mention the amount of money that we currently are paying him. Now he's injured. That's a problem. That's a problem. Another thing, Nick Herbig. Look, I went into the season saying, look, if Nick Herbig could just get better against the run, then the Steelers can move on from Alex Highsmith. Well, guess what happened? Nick Herbig has gotten better against the run. Not only has he gotten better against the run, he's also gotten better in the pass. Look, people don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it out loud, and everybody should take hold. The person on the Pittsburgh Steelers roster with the best pass rush moves is Nick Herbig. Yes, that includes TJ Watt. That includes Alex Highsmith. When you're talking about with your hands, feet, spin move, the whole package, the person who has the absolute best pass rush moves is Nick Herbig. And Nick Herbig is probably going to need to be paid in the offseason. Well, if you're going to pay him, you already paid TJ, you already paid Alex Highsmith, somebody's got to go. You can't be paying 3 guys, and one of them is not a starter, that kind of money, because Herbig is going to command some good money. Not TJ Watt money, but he's going to command what Alex Highsmith gets. Absolutely, he's going to command that, maybe more. Well, you can't be paying him and Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt when one of those guys is a backup. You can't do that. You can't, and the Steelers won't. I say they won't. There's no way. There's no way. But you're going to need to pay Nick Herbig in this offseason. You can't let him go and play on the last year of his deal and possibly could become a free agent. I know you could franchise him, but why do you want to do that? You want Nick Herbig on your team. Alex Highsmith, I don't know. And that's the difference. Look, Nick Herbig is putting up the same kind of numbers with way less snaps when Alex Highsmith is out there. And it was coaching malpractice when Highsmith came back, and I think it was a game where Highsmith got like 47 snaps and Nick Herbig got 28. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, how does that even make sense at all? And it didn't. It didn't make any sense. So that's where we are. And like I said, with Highsmith, here's the thing, his contract. You start looking at it. If the Steelers have $5.6 million in dead money in 2026 with a post June 1st trade. And I know a lot of people, and myself included, I said, well, we want to trade him for draft capital. I don't know how it works. Maybe you can trade somebody before June 1st and still designate it as a June 1st trade, depending on when that is. I don't know how, again, I don't know how all that works. But if you can do that, then the Steelers will definitely do that. Trade him before the draft, designate it a June 1st trade, and go from there. Because you would want draft capital in the 2026 draft. Well, if they can do that, they save $14.5 million against the cap. Now, again, you would have dead money, 5.6, but you save 14.5. Some of that's going to go to Nick Herbig. So that's the thing, is that one of them has to go. That's just the facts. One of those guys is going to have to go. You can't keep both of them. It's just, no, you can't keep both of them and be paying both of them, should I say. You can't, unless you're going to get rid of TJ Watt, which I don't think the Steelers are going to do that. I'm not saying they couldn't, not even saying they shouldn't. I'm just saying I don't believe that they're going to. But that's a different conversation for a different day. I just think Alex Highsmith is the guy that is going to go. It makes the most sense because, number one, you can't get out of the TJ contract just for the simple fact you signed him. You know how much dead money the Steelers would have to eat? Yeah, they're not trading that guy, incapable of trading that guy. But you can trade Alex Highsmith. You already have his replacement. You can always draft another guy behind him as a backup. They just did it with Jack Sawyer, who's still got to get better, but he is getting better. So you can do that and move on from there. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers need to do. I like Highsmith. I think Alex Highsmith is, like I mentioned at the top, hell of a football player. But we got a guy, in my opinion, who's better. He's better. He just needs more of an opportunity. So when that happens, it's the harsh world of the National Football League. You can't keep everybody. I think it's time that Alex Highsmith, I think his days are numbered as a Steeler. I really do. And it's not because I don't like him. It's just because the economics and what makes more sense for the football team. You got to allocate that money somewhere. Some of it's going to go to Highsmith, and damn it, some of it needs to go to the offensive side of the football. But that's just me talking. I apologize. Let's go to the poll question, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Who do you believe should be the Steelers' primary right outside linebacker moving forward? A, Alex Highsmith starts when healthy. B, Nick Herbig is the starter no matter what. C, equal snaps for both. Or D, let production decide. There's probably a wrong answer. I was going to say there's no wrong answer in there. And I'm like, yeah, there's probably a wrong answer. But either way, make sure you put a 3 in front of your answer so we know exactly what poll question you are answering. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to pay Chris Boswell. It's just time to pay Boswell. The Steelers, he had his little mini holdout. You didn't really hear much about it. He didn't make a stink, and they didn't ask him. I didn't see any reporters in his face or anything like they did with Cam Hayward. But Boz didn't just sign his contract either, but he was out there, didn't make a big stink, kind of had his little mini protest during the preseason. But Boz has been fine. I mean, he is. And you hear Mike Tomlin talking about him. He's a serial killer. Just go out there, kick 50-yard field goals, 55-plus yard field goals like it's nothing. Like he doesn't bat an eye. Just knocks it in, keeps on pushing. So here are my reasons on why you should pay Boswell. One, he's a bona fide weapon. That's the thing. He is used, and a lot of people would say, outside of the quarterback, he might be our most valuable weapon on offense. Because if you get within 60 yards, Steelers kick field goals. And he makes them. That's the difference. He makes them. So since his down year, you remember that down year in 2022. That was the year he signed his deal. 2022, he has been 93% since that year. 93%. I mean, in that time, he's been 26 for 30, 50-plus field goals or longer with a long of 60. Now, think about that for a second. 50-yard field goals, 50-yard-plus field goals, 26 of 30 with a long of 60. That's lights out, people. This year, he's 19 for 22, and you think, oh, well, that's not so great, B. Well, you got to remember, he only has one legitimate miss. The first one was a block where Pat Freiermuth didn't block the edge, and the guy came around the edge and blocked the field goal. That's not Boswell's fault. The second miss was on Art Rooney II and how cheap he is in that disgusting turf at Acrisure Stadium where he damn near broke his leg trying to kick. That's not Boswell's fault. And then the last one, he missed against the Chargers. Okay, that's his fault. It was a 45-yarder indoors, didn't get blocked. He just missed it. Well, he is a human being. I mean, nobody said he was perfect. I just said he's the best in the league, but not a perfect human being. It happens. So the Steelers got to make the exception. And here's the thing, because we know that the Steelers don't renegotiate during the season. And they also don't renegotiate when you have 2 years left on your deal. What's wrong with paying Chris Boswell right now? Like, who would make a stink about it? Because, number one, they don't necessarily count kickers with the rest of the roster. Okay? They don't. He's part of the football team, but when you think about renegotiating, a running back isn't going to say, hey, you got to renegotiate my deal because you redid Boswell's deal. It doesn't work like that. So the Steelers could absolutely pay him right now. And if anybody ever did say anything, he's the kicker. He's different than everybody else. Yeah, he's part of the team. I said, but we'll make an exception for him. Not to mention he's the best in the league. Are you the best in the league? But if you're not the best in the league, then we're not going to make that exception. Either way, this is a separate issue. Period. And just leave it at that. But the Steelers got to do it. I think so. Like I said, they didn't do it for Cam, but they shouldn't have done it for Cam. You know, we were all on board with, no, we're not paying Cam. You literally signed your deal last year, man, and you made a bad deal, and that's why you're mad. Well, Boswell didn't make a bad deal. That's the difference. Boswell is the 9th highest paid kicker in the league. At the time, he wasn't. And I get it. Hey, every year you can say you're the highest paid guy right now. Things change as they move along. But are the Steelers thinking about getting rid of Chris Boswell? No. Boswell talked about, have we heard about him retiring anytime soon? No. So why wouldn't you just pay the guy? Sometimes you got to make exceptions to your rules, when they make sense. When they make sense, and especially when they make good business sense. Now, you could say, well, he signed a contract. He's got to honor his contract. Okay. And he's not holding out. But the Steelers could also be good bosses and just say, yeah, I know you have this contract. We realize how good you are. You haven't made a big stink. We're going to go ahead and give you a new deal right now. The Steelers could do that. You absolutely could. And again, I get it. He's got a contract. Play it out. Well, what if he decides to play it out and then he says, I don't want to be in Pittsburgh anymore? Because you know what? When I was asking for a new deal, you guys could have given it to me. Instead, you just said nope. And so I played it out. And you know what? I don't want to play here anymore. I'd rather go somewhere else. I'd rather go play indoors. Might add 3 years to my career. Sometimes you got to do things a little differently than what you've done in the past. It's okay to do that. And it's okay to do it in certain situations. And you could just tell people, you're not getting the same treatment. Isn't that what Jimmy Johnson said a long time ago about the Cowboys? Yes, I treat everybody equally. I'm going to treat Emmitt Smith better than I treat the third string running back. And everybody knows that. There you go. He's like, he told him, he's more important, period. So that's my equal. I'm going to let you know how I'm going to treat you. I'm going to let him know how I'm going to treat him. But everybody is not the same. But I get it. They could do something different from Boz. Harrison Butker right now is making 6.4. He's not having a great year. Jake Elliott, $6 million. Cameron Dicker, 5.5. Evan McPherson from the Bengals, 5.5. And Graham Gano, 5.5. Boz is at 4.9. It's time to pay him. There's no reason not to. I get what the situation. I understand, contracts and he's got to honor his contract. Oh, okay. Fine. If that's the way you want it for every single situation, fine. But then you can't be mad and you can't be calling guys disloyal if their contract is up and they decide to go work and play for somebody else. Because that's what happens. It happens all the time. A guy's contract is up, he's a free agent, and he leaves. And then we call him disloyal. Well, what do you mean he's disloyal? Somebody offered him more money to do the exact same thing. How is that disloyal? You had an opportunity. You could have given him more money, but you chose to play out the contract. Okay, well, now I have a new contract. It's just somewhere else. Why do I have to stay here? I don't. I have the ability to go and play anywhere that I want to play. It's time to pay Boswell. There's no reason not to. I guess that's my main argument. Like, what's the reason you won't? Because I don't get into the make him play his whole contract out. He's got to honor it. That's why you sign a contract. Yeah, okay, fine. You can live in that world. But in reality of the National Football League, you can also tear up the contract and just pay one of the better offensive weapons that you have to keep them around. or better yet, to keep him happy. I don't think enough people value that in an NFL locker room. I can be a disgruntled guy, even though I'm not causing problems. I can still be unhappy, or I can be happy and still be at the top of my profession. Just my thoughts. Just my thoughts. Let's go to the poll. Should the Steelers renegotiate Chris Boswell's contract during the season? A, yes, he deserves to be paid based on his performance. B, no, they should negotiate in season as per their policy. C, only if they can sign him for cheaper than in the offseason, which I don't think they're going to be able to do that. D, don't bother negotiating. Give him whatever he's asking. I'm for that. Usually I don't answer these poll questions, but I'm for that. I'm for D. Whatever Boz is asking for, give it to him and let's move on. I'm for that. But for you guys, make sure you put a 4 under what question, or number 4 in front of the letter that you guys are answering, so we know exactly what poll question you are answering. So here's the thing. And we talked about the log jam at corner. It's a good thing, people. It's a good thing. James Pierre playing as well as he have, it shows growth. It shows growth that he has gotten better each and every season. Will it last? I don't know. And one play, let's just say he gets in there and he gives up a touchdown. That doesn't mean that he still isn't playing well. I think sometimes we get caught up, and it's an internet thing, and I get it, that if another professional actually makes a play, then you're cooked, you're washed, you're no good. See, I told you. It's like they pay the other guys, man. They pay those guys too. Sometimes they're gonna make a play on you. It happens. It happens. It's okay. But if you win the majority, then you lose. That's a good day at the office, and I'll take that. I will take that. So, is he going to get to play more? We'll see. Asante Samuel Jr., at some point, the Steelers are going to have to sign him to the roster because these other teams, somebody could poach him right off the practice squad. Now, he has to agree to go there, but somebody could just snatch him up immediately. So, at some point, he's got to be in the mix. Otherwise, why did we bring him in? There's no reason to bring him in unless he got here and he can't play. That's a different situation. But I think it's more of a can he just get in shape type of thing. So we'll see. We'll see. I like where they're at, though, with corner. I said it before, and I'll say it again. There's 2 positions on a football field that you cannot have. Well, I guess there's more than 2. But 2 essential positions where you do have a plethora of these guys on your football team, and you can never have enough of them. Offensive linemen. You can never have enough offensive linemen, and you can never have enough good corners, man. Can never have enough good ones. So appreciate everybody, man. Thank you again, as always. That's all I got for you today. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Steelers Almighty content comes out. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, aloha.